14th of February every year is National Mathematics Day. So today we're here with Professor Sichufe Anko. He's the president of the Ghana Mathematics Society and also the director of Megaza Mathematics Academy. We're here with him to have interactions with him generally about the subject mathematics. We know the phobia and we know the fear that it evokes in a lot of people. We're going to have an extensive conversation on this subject matter and also find out from him more about the celebration of mathematics on the 14th of February. Prof, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Before we start the main conversation about mathematics, we see a lot of activity going on in the background here.
Yes.
Maybe you want to tell us exactly what's happening.
What's happening is at our academy, what we do is we engage students in activity-based mathematics learning. What we mean is, they learn mathematics through activities. They develop concepts themselves through activities. So we engage them one-on-one to make sure they understand mathematics and see the relevance of mathematics to real life. Because, like you know, and we have been saying all the time, there are too many people failing mathematics because they don't understand the principles and methods of mathematics. And they think it's difficult. It's not difficult, it's very, very easy. So if you approach it through the practical means, you find hands-on activities. You see that the students whom you see first as having phobia for mathematics start developing love for mathematics. That's why we came up with this, showing love to mathematics on the 14th of February, nationwide, to get students sensitized to the need for them to develop love for mathematics and find it something that they can do very easily.
Okay. So this case actually were brought here by the parents to come and learn just mathematics.
Yes.
And how are they faring?
They're doing very well. Every student you see here is an A student. They top their classes. Some come because they are not doing well in school. The parents bring them because they've heard about us. They bring them, we prepare them. Before long, they start topping their class. You see, when they come for SHS or JHS, whatever, it's supposed to be 3 years program in the school system. While they come to it, we use the maximum of 1 year. Normally it used to be 3 months, but these days we have given them some leeway. So we use maximum of 1 year to complete the whole 3-year program. And they go to excel in classes. All of them. You can talk to them when you finish from here. You can talk to some of them. They will tell you their own stories.
Okay.
Yes.
In your preliminary remarks, you talked about the high failure rate of students in mathematics. In
yes.
fact, in the year 2016, that was May 2016, Professor Kwesi Yankah, who is the Vice Chancellor of the Central University, yes, made a presentation at the Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences. And in that presentation, it was revealed that between the period of 2006 to 2015, we've never exceeded a pass rate of 50% in the subject of core mathematics. In fact, the last time we came closer to hitting the 50% mark was in 2012 when we had a pass rate of 49.40%. In 2015, for instance, the pass rate was just 25.04%. What really is contributing to this abysmal performance in mathematics?
Abysmal performance, in fact, it is. And there are so many factors. But you see, in the long run, the question is, who is taking the exam? Who is failing the exam? It's the student. So the focus must be on the student, even though there are some other variables, like the teacher, the curriculum, the textbooks they use. All of those things are very important. But the final focus must be on the student, because the teacher teaches, the student learns. It's the learning aspect that is having a lot of problems. What the students these days don't want to study. They spend a lot of time on social media at the expense of studying to understand. And they are not disciplined. You see, when you came here, you saw them very quiet. Even though there are many students having different levels, they are sitting together, but they are studying, focus on what they are supposed to do. Do you have that in the school system? No, there's not be anything at all. But the thing is, if you are disciplined and you focus, you can make it. You see, so I will say the major issue is the students are not focusing to study. They are not focusing to study, even though teachers are supposed to teach. I keep saying that teaching must be 30%, learning must be 70%. You see, teacher teaches only 30%. Student learns 70% of the material. So if the student not learning, you can make it. Teacher is not going to write the exam for you. Your father is not going to write the exam for you. Not your brothers or sisters, nobody. It's you, the student. So our focus, you can see, is on the student. The students must know how to do it.
Now, I think sometime in 2014, you espoused that students are failing mathematics because their teachers themselves also fail mathematics.
Yes.
What informed
That happened because, we train teachers here. We train teachers. We've trained over 800 teachers from the 10 regions of Ghana here. And when they come, I interview them, I give them tests, and I see the way they respond. Ask myself, are these the teachers of mathematics? If they are the teachers of mathematics, then what are they teaching the students? You see, a lot of them don't understand the mathematics. They don't know how to teach the mathematics for understanding, let alone relate to real life situations for the students to appreciate, the importance of what they are studying. So, and I've asked them a lot of questions. And I see from the questions that they don't understand. They're just there, as somebody in the classroom, occupying the space of a teacher, and let alone a mathematics teacher. That's all. You see, ask teachers what's pi. It will surprise you. 30 teachers pi. 10 teachers couldn't answer a word as to what pi is. Some were even thinking of meat pie. Meat pie. And you are a mathematics teacher. And I said, no. You see, it's not appropriate. So something must be done. That's why with the former minister, we tried to retrain through professional development. And it was working very well, but even though there was enough money to train all the people we wanted to train, and the level of training, the extensiveness of what we want to do, even though we couldn't do all, but you could see that we're achieving modest results. Modest, So, yes, the teachers sometimes, what I'm saying that, I want to make it very clear that there are some very good teachers. I'm not saying all the teachers, but some of them are bad. Some of them are bad.
Now, tied to the issue of the high failure rate regarding the study of mathematics in the schools is also admission into the university. Now, the directive for the National Council of Tertiary Education, if you get a grade of D7 or D8, you do not qualify to enter the university, then automatically pass you from entering the university. Now, in 2013, we had the Ministry of Education and then the National Council of Tertiary Education had to compromise on that directive for polytechnics because out of 19,000 students who applied nationwide to polytechnics, only 3,000 of them qualified to enter because of the issue of D7. So they had to compromise on that particular directive so that people get a chance to enter. What do you make of that directive where people who make D7, E8 do not qualify to enter university, especially when some of the courses that you're going to read are not directly related to mathematics?
I think the compromise itself is bad enough. You see, very bad, because you see, to make it look like you can do anything mathematics and move you forward. You see, but mathematics is a core, very, very important, because mathematics is everywhere, and the principles and methods of mathematics ensure the efficiency of everything that we do. It's not the case that you're not going to do core mathematics subject. If you go to medicine, you go to marketing, you go to codem, law. There's serious mathematics there. So it's a mistake if you think I'm going somewhere without mathematics. So it doesn't matter, let me just scrap the surface and be allowed to go. No. You see, the other issue you have to look at is what should be the entry requirements? Should it be on the strict examination basis as we have, or we must, diversify our entry requirements, to come and go to the tertiary institutions? You see, we are too much focused on examinations. Some people can do well without the way we organize examinations here, by going through projects, other means to see what the people can do, and that can qualify them to the university or tertiary institutions. But you see, our focus is too much on the formal examination as the only source by which we determine your qualification for, upward, advancement in education, which is bad in itself. You see, there's so much you have to do in terms of restructuring education in the country. You see, there's so much to be done. But do you have the courage to do it? Do you have people who are ready to do that? You see, can people be admitted to the university just out of their mock examinations, their classroom performance in their school system, everything that they do in the school? Even can sports play part? Can something from sports, your social responsibility, play some part in your admission into higher education? We got to look at the whole thing comprehensively and stop looking at mathematics. Did you get A? Did you get B? Did you get C? Otherwise, fail. That's the end of your life. No! There are many things to look at. If they are prepared, they can do that. But you see, we are not courageous enough. We are not courageous because of what has been dumped on us, examination, formal examination. We are afraid to move away from it.
Interesting you raise the point about formal education, because some people want to believe that our colonizers really did not know this issue, because during the time of the British rule, there was a high concentration of training the local people to be able to handle some clerical duties. There was huge focus on the study of history, geography, Latin, and other courses in the humanities, to the detriment of the study of mathematics. Would you say that our colonizers also played a role?
You see, they played a role, but it is 60 years of independence. 60 solid years of independence. What are we doing ourselves to develop our own systems to get things done to suit us? We have to adopt and adapt to suit our system. We don't have to take anything wholesale. We did it for 60 years. Are we not good enough to develop our own way of getting things done that will be beneficial to Ghana? Why do you have to copy? Say Cambridge is doing it, therefore we must do. IBM, IB. So we do that. Can't we develop our own? Can't we develop our own what is good for Ghana? Or don't we have people who can think what is good for Ghana? Always must be copied from somewhere else. The colonial masters came, they wanted something, and they got their something. So we have taken over. Let's also get our something by developing our own thing to do our something to benefit us. Let's stop blaming the colonial masters. They did this because they came for a reason. They came for our gold. They took the gold away. They came for our forefathers. They took them away to get what they wanted. For 60 years is a long time for us to move away. But we are just following them, blaming them. No, I don't accept that at all. When I started my program here, I had a lot of opposition. In terms of introducing practical mathematics in school system. But I guarantee you, almost every minister's relative came here. They came here. The parliamentarians, they came here. I'm saying it today. They came here. And the children did very well. And they have gone outside doing medicine, pharmacy, engineering, just because they came to do mathematics here to understand it. Why can't we do it for the whole country? Why can't we? It can be done. We're only refusing. There's some sort of selfishness inside. We we don't want to get everybody to benefit. You know. So, what can I say?
Now, yes, National Mathematics Day. You want to tell us more about this day? What exactly is mathematics celebration? We have we achieved, have we attained what you said?
Yeah, you see, there are lots of messages of love in the air. Lots of messages of love. And who are saying love for this, love for that, love for this. And I see a lot of the messages of love are borrowing on lust. Lust. Not love as God defines it. When Jesus, God loved, He gave His Son. So what are we giving to our youth, Ghanaians, to benefit them? And we say that, you know, at this month of love, focus on whatever you are doing. We are focusing on the youth, that they must expend their energy on showing love to mathematics. Because we say, love Ghana, love mathematics. Why are we saying that? Because when we say, if you love Ghana, because what is it in loving Ghana? Because you want to see Ghana well developed. And what can help you develop Ghana well is mathematics. Because the principles and methods of mathematics ensure the efficiency of everything that we do. You can mention them and I will show you the mathematics in them. Everything that we do is the principle and methods of mathematics that ensure the efficiency. All the developed countries you've seen, all of them, they use mathematics. All of them. It's at the background, but you don't see it. But go to the background and find out they are using principles and methods of mathematics. Because that's what it is. So what we are saying is, let's sensitize the students, the public, everybody to support the study of mathematics, so that we don't have as many as 90,000 getting straight F in core mathematics. Doesn't sound well to the ear. That 90,000 failed at the sitting of core mathematics. What is it? Because we see that very, very simple. Very simple. But we make it look like it's hard. It's not hard. It's not dropping out of space. It is the real things around us every day that we do. You know, flooding. We only need a slope for water to flow away. And we build gutters without slope. And we choke gutters. We go to choke the gutters. So, what are we saying? What are I saying? So people must understand that slope is mathematics. It's a gradient. You study in calculus, say dy, dx, differentiate. You do all of those things. After doing that, why don't you apply it to your everyday life? Why don't you apply it? Buildings are collapsing. It's a very simple issue of ratio. Ratio of cement to water to sand. That's all. A particular ratio will give a particular strength of your concrete. But what happens? When they say go and build for me, you take away you steal all the cement to go and sell. You take small sand, small something, and then you go and mix something and say you've got concrete. What concrete? You cannot take 5 stories. Malcolm will collapse. And the buildings are collapsing every day in Ghana because we are not applying the principles and methods of mathematics. You know, you see, talk of single spine. It was a misapplication of mathematics that caused the problem. I once called a capacity building for all media people here to show them how, you know, the whole single spine collapsed because we didn't understand simple concept of fraction. That's all. It all relates to fraction. That's all. And I called them. Money was here. Everybody was here. But then they came to say, that's all the end. Nobody promoted it again. You see? Yes, it's mathematics. What's the fraction? Fraction is a unit partitioned into a number of equal parts. Then you take a part. So single spine salary is taking part of the whole. What's the whole unit? The whole unit is your GDP. So the whole GDP is partitioned into parts. So to those parts, one part goes for education, one part goes for health, one part goes for that, one part goes for salary. If you take health and road construction and put all together, you're going to give salary, you are depriving those areas of their share. So that's all. So if you want bigger share, have a bigger unit. A bigger unit means bigger GDP. How do you get a bigger GDP? There are many ways economists will tell you. Either you reduce your import bill or you increase your export earnings. So there are many ways to do. And mathematics will caution you. No, this is too much, this is too little, this is too. So you follow it and you see that you get your good result. But if you just go, say, I want to give you salary, 30 million, without considering what percentage, what fraction of the GDP you are taking for salary, you to collapse. You collapse other areas because you don't have money for them, because you have not increased your GDP. So you must have a comprehensive understanding of the whole landscape and know how to apportion properly, so that you must eat Ghana food and stop importing things that we can grow internally, and that will save us foreign exchange to do other things that we cannot do on our own. There are many things we can do on our own. We refuse to do them because of importation. It's cheaper because somebody makes money to import. So they refuse to implement the things that can be done for us to make the money internally. So many things happening, too many of them to sit down here and be talking about. But if you go back to the basics, Ghana is a paradise. After all around, you go around and see, when you come out to Ghana, even the air we breathe in Ghana is, from paradise. Seriously, even the air we breathe in Ghana, go to China, go and see. They smoke every day, Hong Kong, every day. Come to Ghana, the air is fresh. When you reach the airport, as soon as you are landing, you will see the difference. I'm telling you. You should ask anybody who has been traveling out and coming back. As soon as you are landing, you read the air there, you are coming, you say, welcome to Kotoka International Airport. The air is different. You see. So, I don't know what's wrong with us. Not a lot of them, all of them. I'm sticking my neck and saying all of them. Yes.
In fact, I cannot agree more on that score, because science forms, mathematics forms the basis of science and technology. And if you are looking at countries that are really developed in terms of science and technology, looking at Singapore, looking at Japan, you're looking at, some of these Asian countries, their technologies are developed.
Yes. I stayed in Singapore. I was in the system, the educational system there, so I know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
I was there. I was teaching the students there at the university level. I know.
And they do also.
They do very well. Very well.
What are they doing?
I'm telling you all the things I'm telling you. That's what they're doing. They focus on the students. They focus on them. And they're very serious about it. Very, very serious about it. There's no joke. The science is taken seriously. And you see, if you don't go for professional development, you're not promoted. You don't just go sit in the classroom and get promoted. No. You must attend conferences, show that you are improving yourself, you are improving your students' results are improving. They put all together to promote you. You don't just sit down there and get promotion. No.
Should we start with Shanghai maths approach, for instance, where a mathematics teacher will try to understand the behavior of children before they looks like they do all these.
Those are all very important. But you see, I don't want to say Shanghai approach or whatever. We can have a Ghanaian approach. Let's know what is wrong, and develop our own. There are so many educationists in Ghana. There are so many experts in Ghana. We don't listen to them. Every time they become political, we don't listen to them. They can tell you what can be done for us to improve the system. But we are refusing to do the right thing because it's not imported. You look at it, that's the capital sign. That is the carpenter's son. We know him, we know his brother, we know his sister. Can anything good come out of Nazareth? Can anything good come out of Nazareth? So what you are doing is the wrong, You see, I beg to differ. It's not a matter of boasting. I'm saying the reality. That the Ghanaians who can do the things are not given the opportunity to get the things done. They're not given the opportunity because they don't. Whatever. Because they don't belong to a particular group, they don't have special somebody somewhere to talk for them, whatever. I don't know. They are not. Look at the engineers. Look at the way they are dumping waste things inside the sea. Can the engineers Ghanaian engineers do something about it? Can they do something about it? This waste, we have plenty. Can they do anything about it? Are they being given the opportunity to do something? They are failing. I don't think they have been given the opportunity. I don't think so. Somebody will sabotage you along the way because you are Ghanaian. Having said that, there's another side of it. Ghanaians, we don't execute businesses, projects, efficiently. It's one thing that goes against it. When I give a Ghanaian something to go and do, we'll do it half and go away. We will not do it well. We don't pursue excellence. We must pursue excellence. And there are some who pursue excellence but don't get the job done. They don't get the job to do. Always our mindset must be, whatever I do it as unto the Lord, not unto men. If you have that mindset, everything you get, do it well. And seek glory from God, not from men. I don't like men to be praising you. What is it? Get the work done. That's all. Magic is the grace of God, not me. All the things I went through, I couldn't have done them with my own strength. No way. If I want to recount the things I experienced, I couldn't have overcome them on my own. Hey, I don't know. It's not been easy. Funding, if I told you when I set up this, when I came, I said, let it be practical mathematics. How? It cannot be done. And a lot of position for the ministry from GS. A lot of position. Say cannot be done. It's like I'm talking somebody in space. So when I had the Ghana Mountain Society, because of that, I went ahead to form the Mikasa Mountain Academy for us to implement all the things we're talking about. That it is possible and doable. That's why I turned my house into the academy. You see? Because every place I went to, I wasn't getting space. When I wanted to go to school, they said it cannot be allowed. To surprise you to know that, even as at now, I was going to give talks, I've given talks to school. All the GS school, when I go to them, they tell me I cannot come and talk to them. I must go and take position here. Even while I've written letter to the ministry, the chief director, requesting permission to go to all these places. I went to a school to give a talk. They gave me, a microphone and a speaker. They said I should pay for it, even though I want to give them free. I wanted to go and give them free, say how to study and pass mathematics. Then they were charging me for using their microphone. You are surprised?